Call meeting to order at 7:02. We'll do a roll call vote. Vanderbrink.
Here.
Page.
Here.
Denkert.
Here.
Iverson.
Here.
Krieger.
Here.
Sorensen. We have a quorum. And Mr. Gatsky is excused. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Gary.
Second.
Thank you, Tom.
Good man,
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, public comment. You're not gonna talk? You're not gonna talk? Okay, we're gonna move on. Approved secretary report for the October 2nd meeting. That was sent out with everything.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 2nd meeting.
Thank you, Mark.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Tom. Wow, you're on it.
Oh, correction, October 28th meeting? I said second.
October 28th meeting.
Correction
You
for
said
me.
December 2nd meeting?
I said October 2nd.
Oh, no, we had a
October
special meeting.
28th.
Tom, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okey-dokey. We're going to move on to the treasurer's report. We have bills applied and payments and the year-to-date budget. Right now, it looks like we've exceeded, we're over budget. Yep, and I think that that's because not everything is posted for the year. I think we have some donations to approve. Are there any questions concerning that?
I just have one question that's on bills and applied payments. What is a loyalty group, something, is that something?
That's our computer group. They're the ones who put the security system in because we didn't have any security on our software. Is there a motion to approve and place on file?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills and payments and then the budget today.
Oh, she's got donations rolled up in there too.
Well, we can do the,
You gonna do them separate?
yeah, why not?
Okay. Mark made a motion to approve the accounts payable and the treasurer's report. Is there a second?
I'll say,
Ooh,
go ahead, Gary.
he's gonna let Gary have that one? Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to donations. Do you have that list?
I sure do. Donations, there was 2 monitors by Mark Denkert. Also 2 additional TVs donated by Heather Donovan. One of them is in the administrative office and one for announcements at functions, like we had out here at our chili supper. We're scrolling through on that TV. And also lumber for building a base for a desk for Heather. Heather and Pat Donovan donated the lumber for building a base for her desk. So, those are the donations I have.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept those donations? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we have grants later, right?
Is that, you have
Okay.
opening up in there?
No, we'll do it in grants.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, approved, need a motion?
Sure.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Thank you, Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You're on.
All right. So I will start with the letter outside of the booklet that you all received. My name is Riley Hutter. I'm a manager with CLA. I have over 8 years of experience performing audits, compilations, reviews, consulting, rate studies with local municipalities, counties, villages, cities, special districts such as yourselves, and other utilities. So I'll get started with the governance communication letter. Then I'm going to run through some kind of key financial numbers that I want to highlight, and then I'll get to the end of the report, which will kind of go through findings, evaluate internal controls, things like that. So stop me at any time if you have any questions, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. So the governance communication letter here, just starting on page 1, most of this letter is standard communication that you've received in the past. A lot of similar language to previous years, but I'm going to highlight a few of the key points within here that I think are more important. So accounting policies, we no new accounting policies in 2024. Each year we do implement and evaluate new GASB standards that come up. So we did evaluate GASB 101, which is related to compensated absences, vacation, sick leave, things along that nature. So we looked at that GASB standard, and there really was no material effect within the fire district. So no major change there, but just wanted to note that's something that we do look at.
And when you hear me have talked about GASB accounting is a standard accounting practice nationally, which we had not followed for at least a decade. So, go ahead.
Yeah, yep, government, basically government auditing standards. So, there are no significant accounting estimates within your financial statements, no difficulties encountered during the audit, no uncorrected misstatements, which are things that we would identify during the audit that aren't posted on your books. So everything we identified, either does get updated within your accounting software. Moving on to the second page here, corrected misstatements. So that's similar to uncorrected, but these are items that were significant that we identified throughout the audit process, and we do propose journal entries to be made.
And she's working on it.
Yep. So there's some things every year similar. GASB 87, which is another standard related to the Wisconsin retirement system. Those are some entries that we calculate and propose, can give to the district fairly easily. So that's something similar each year. There were some entries this year to reverse and record accounts receivable, accounts payable, and payroll liabilities, and then to record a municipal assessment billed at the end of 2023. So just some changes that get recorded throughout the audit process that might not have been reflected in your numbers that you were looking at monthly. No disagreements with management. Management representations. There is another letter that I won't go through, but each year management signs this letter, basically taking responsibility for the financial statements. Even though we do prepare these on behalf of the district, they are your financial statements, and management takes responsibility for that. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in the governance communication. And some of these back pages are all the representations that I just mentioned. So getting into the financial statements, I'll start with the opinion. So page 1 after the table of contents. So each year, this is really the main kind of goal of the audit is we take a risk-based approach through everything, evaluate different transactions, but our end goal is to issue that opinion each year. So we did issue an unmodified opinion, which is the cleanest and highest opinion that you would want to see every year. And that is pretty much a summary of the first 3 pages is disclosing our basis for our opinion and just some more standard language really related to that. Moving to page 6. Your statement of net position. What I want to point out here is really your cash balances and your total ending net position. So cash balances did decrease slightly from $230,000 in 2023 to $191,000 in 2024. Slight decrease, but I'll kind of go through why that decreased when we get to the statement of cash flows. And then your total net position did decrease about $100,000 as well at the bottom of this page, from 2.5 million to about 2.4. Moving on to page 7, this is the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. So your operating revenues did increase, which is good to see, increased from 515,000 to about 530,000. And then your total operating expenses did decrease pretty significantly, $813,000 in 2023 to $655,000 in 2024. So overall, still a net operating loss of $124,000. But if you're comparing that to 2023, it really was cut in half, or more than in half, going from $198,000 to 124,000. So that brings you to your overall change in that position of that decrease of 100,000. But again, compared to previous year, that is looking better and did decrease more than 50 or cut in half again. So that brings you down to your total ending net position of the 2.4 million that we just went through. Any questions so far? Moving on to page 8. This is the statement of cash flows, so it really shows you where your cash is being spent throughout the year. The key points that I see from this page is really your cash paid to suppliers, up about the third line down, decreased, so $357,000 in 2023 to about $189,000 in 2024, and that's really your decrease in your expenses there that we just went through on the previous page. So overall, your cash did decrease by about $44,000. It's nothing significant, just a slight decrease compared to previous year.
I have a question. So to you, as an auditor, or financial auditor, when we decrease the cash paid to suppliers, that's a good thing, generally.
Yeah, so depending on what you're spending, your expenses during the year, what you're budgeting, and we'll touch on the budget a little later here. But really, that's the line that stuck out to me most, and what that kind of correlates back to is your operating expenses. So last year your operating expenses were about $813,000. This year they're about $655,000, and kind of the main driver of that was less cash paid to suppliers for.
That's watching what we pay for, buying things that are on sale, have a good price, and the other thing is we're actually paying for things we use.
Right. That's what I thought, and I wanted to make sure people understood that,
Yeah.
that our budgeting is starting to pay off a lot over the last couple of years. We're shrinking that.
It would take a few years.
Yep, and I just want to remind people
Okay.
that it's taking a couple of years, and we're moving in the right direction with this.
Right. Tom?
What explains the drastic decrease in professional fees? That was a big improvement. also went from 158 to 89.
We didn't have
Like a-
McMahon and Associates. McMahon and
The
Associates.
consultant to get
Right,
us back on track.
we have him,
okay.
but at a very reduced
Okay.
number, because we had McMahon and Associates, did we have them for over a year?
Yeah,
It's-
yeah,
'cause-
roughly.
Yeah, I think we had them,
Yeah, we did.
yeah, we did, because we got them in 2023 and then went into 2024.
Okay.
I think it was like like December of 22,
Mm-hmm.
then it rolled
Oh,
all the
that's
way
right.
through 23.
Yep,
And then I came here with the 10 hours here
Okay.
in 20.
so
25,
that's what you're seeing, Tom, and that's a good catch.
And then repairs and maintenance, there's quite a dramatic change there. Is that just because we're more on top of?
We're actually repairing and maintaining,
Yes,
yeah, I'd say.
yes, we're watching it and we're anticipating and we're fixing things generally before they cost us more money, I think. is
No,
what's-
they weren't being done.
Some things weren't being
Things
done.
being fallen
Yeah.
apart, and then
Right,
you
now-
have to fix it,
Right.
right?
Yeah, we're doing stuff in-house too now, more than letting it go out.
Let's apply that. Thank you.
That's a good catch, Tom.
All right, I will move on next. Between pages 9, I'll say to 27, I'm gonna jump to 27, are a lot of your standard footnote disclosures. Nothing really new or changing that will be within those pages. Probably about half of those pages are all standard disclosures related to the WRS pension that really get updated each year, but it's all kind of standard language in the WRS pension plan. So I don't think I'll go into too much detail there. And then when I get to page 27, this is your budget to actual. So this is kind of where you'll be able to look more at really your variances to the budget. So just looking at the whole, your total operating expenditures, you budgeted 666,000. Your actual is 655,000. So 11,000 total under budget.
Hey, it was 4,000 the year before, we're doing
Yeah.
good.
Yes, that's spot on. I think that's really close. And really the main highlights that I see on this page is wages came in about $95,000 under budget. And then your materials and supplies again, so your operating materials and supplies came about $63,000 under budget. So those two things, were the largest that stick out to me here. And then your professional services were about $46,000 over budget. So between those three items, that's really your three items that kind of net down to your variance here of being $11,000 under budget.
Any questions? Okay.
Can you comment on the professional services that,
That again, I think is McMahon and
Okay.
Associates. We pay, do you count the computer people as professional services too? That would be loyalty.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't think those are under any other, and
Yeah.
I think that's probably
Attorney.
our services as well.
Yeah, we had some expenses with the attorney,
Yeah.
which are very few and far between now. But we did have a couple years with the attorney. And loyalty is taking, we don't have the CBD guy doing our computer stuff anymore. We have loyalty.
I think that's everything I wanted to cover on the financial pieces of everything. So I will move on to page 32 now. So page 32, we, as part of the audit process, we do evaluate internal controls, really the internal control structure, and then we come up with findings or recommendations based on that evaluation. So the first control deficiency here really is preparation of your annual financial report. This is very common and one that you'll likely always see listed here. So this is, we are preparing the financial statements on behalf of you. And as a part of that, it is required that we list this finding there. Again, very common, nothing to be worried of, or something that will really be fixed in the future, just because the costs of preparing it yourselves really don't outweigh it. We can prepare this very efficiently on your behalf, so.
Also, they review all of the financials on a quarterly basis. That's one of our new internal controls, because nobody was reviewing anything prior to putting in this new finance system. There was no oversight.
And kind of building off the oversight that you mentioned on this next page, on page 33, this finding is related to segregation of duties, and that really is that you have one person who is essentially completing all financial duties, and that it really isn't separated as ideally as possible. This finding, I do believe, will be going away in the future with changes that are being made. So this that's great of an entity your size to not have the segregation of duties finding is good, and that's what you really want to work for. And I think changes will be made going forward where that will be gone. So. And then this third finding is adjustments to the district financial records. Again, so this is a new one just because we had to propose a few larger journal entries as part of the audit process. Nothing concerning, just some year-end entries that we did propose, and they were large enough to I guess where we had to evaluate this and implement a finding. But that one as well, I expect it really will not be a repeat item, and should hopefully go away in the future. So, yeah, I think that's.
What's being done, how is that changing to allow proper segregation?
That's something right now I think that Kevin, you and Heather work on, and I think also a new form has been created in which somebody has to ask for something, and then he has to sign off on it and date it. And that would be a new internal control.
Okay.
So in effect, it will not be purchased until you sign off and date it.
Correct.
No verbal will be taken into account.
Yeah, there'll be a list of its multiple items, and
Yep.
we'll have each number, or each item, the amount, and then the total goes to approval. And I don't know if we talked about it or if we need to, but there'll be a limit, so if it's $50 and we're running to get a spark plug or a paper clip, I'm assuming we don't have to bother the chief for that approval. But if it's something, let's say over 500 or over 1,000, absolutely would get chief's
I would
permission.
even bring it down farther, given our history and being nickeled and dimed.
Yeah,
I would say even 100 or 250.
yeah, that was our question, is what does that amount look like, and what are you, the board, comfortable with having that approval?
I would say 50.
50? Anybody else have? I'm happy with 50 too.
Okay,
So we have to have a signature and a date, and then it can be purchased.
yep, that form has all those items
I
on
think
it.
it's got a number on it too, don't it, like a value number?
Yeah, I think it has like a number on it too, so we know.
We're working.
Yeah, and the key point with that is just having multiple eyes on things. So one person doesn't have the ability to go, make purchases on their own.
Yep.
And you're really, segregating things as much as possible. And that's where,
So,
we see
question,
it.
let's say John needs a battery, doesn't know what it costs, damn truck doesn't start, gotta go down and get a battery. So he gets the approval to get a battery, but he doesn't know what it costs.
He can't get a battery because he doesn't have the authority to sign off on anything.
Well,
He
someone's
can't go
gotta sign
charge.
off it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying,
it'd be him.
John decides, or
Use him as an example.
he's gotta go get a battery, so
Yeah.
he doesn't know what the battery costs, how does
Yeah,
that work?
it's called a telephone.
Yeah, but if you actually have to sign a piece of paper to do it first, before you
Yeah.
buys it.
No, but you know what it is, you know how much, you can go and find out
Well,
about how much it is.
You
and
can
then-
ask in the form to be
Usually you take
filled
the
out for
battery
him to
down
sign.
and
Right.
find, so you can match the
As long as
battery.
that's possible, that's
Yeah.
a verbal agreement, okay, go do it,
Well,
and then,
he can sign it, but
Sign it.
then the paperwork has to be filled out
Right.
and re-signed and dated,
yes,
okay?
just trying to make sure that it's all.
Yep.
I mean, I think being able to buy a battery should not maybe be a big barrier, but a lot of these things are way over,
We're gonna need paperwork because frankly,
yeah, we do.
it was a free-for-all at Ace Hardware. Anybody could go in and get anything they wanted at any time. It didn't matter how much it was.
I know that, but I'm just saying, if I'm here working on a truck and I need a battery, and if I gotta have the exact price of the battery before I even go down there to,
You can buy it and then fill out it can be paperwork, but somebody else is gonna have
Well,
to do
you're
the
also gonna have a
paperwork.
receipt for it,
Yep,
yeah, you are, and you should have, I'm not disagreeing,
so
Yeah.
I'm just saying if everything has,
with the receipt and
you
the
can
date.
go down and you can buy a
I think that's
battery for
perfect.
$150 and the darn thing costs you $165, how does that work? That's what I was wondering.
I think
That's
you could
gonna be a
also,
problem.
you could also during just the course of, you know, normal day to day, you have your paperwork and you, the chiefs know what's going on, right? They know you're gonna be working on something or something comes up and you just send them
Text.
a text or a call, or you talk to it, you know, next time you say them and you say, within that day or with, you know, within the day, basically, you say, hey, yeah, we're gonna go down, we're gonna get, you know, this,
Like the
this
front
fitting
thing,
and a
6
battery
garbage pigs
and,
Right, yeah.
and, you know, chief says, yep, sounds good, go ahead, do that, fill out the paperwork, I'll sign it then that same day,
So-
because then
So
it's done.
basically, the price of this stuff goes on after you bought it, so.
I would, yeah, I would think that's a reasonable.
if it's an emergency,
Like, just going.
but there aren't gonna be a lot of emergencies.
Well, I know my tractor doesn't start, you need a battery, I would call up and say, hey, what's exactly this battery? gonna cost?
Yeah, but you're your own boss and nobody was taking money from you.
No, that's not where I was going
Okay,
at all.
okay.
I'm saying, I don't know what the battery costs till I get down there.
Right.
Because, okay, it's this kind of a battery, this is what it
Mm-hmm.
costs, and the way they've been changing, to be able to buy a battery for $75, now they're twice.
Are they that expensive?
Over 200
I can't buy a lawnmower battery.
Well,
like
right here is a
Yep.
bill for battery for a forklift in the Jeep for $312.
No,
So divide that in half, that's up $150. They're not cheap anymore.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying, you don't know, you know, unless you wanna spend another half an hour calling everybody, you don't know what it's gonna cost to get down there anyway, and that's what I was worried about.
Yeah, I think you can make accommodations.
And I'm always around Ripon, and I can just swing down here whenever, lunch, sign it quick. We'll make it work.
Gonna start any more trouble?
No, I want as less trouble as possible.
Well, it's just, I'm very encouraged because in 2 years, we've come a long way. We're actually black. Are there any other questions? Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
And
coming in.
everything looks good is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, well, you don't have to hang out.
All right.
Tonight. We don't expect
Sounds
that.
good.
Oh, but I wanna stay.
I don't, can I go home? Okay, chief's report.
We have 2 months of calls for service. We have October's and November's. Start with October's first.
It looks like every month we've gone down from the previous year's calls.
Yep. You can see on the back here, we did some events. We did a homecoming parade, trunk and treat with the Boys and Girls Club. We also did trick or treating. And like Colin said, the calls for the month were 27. And it is down 89 calls from last year this time. That was for October's.
I've got a question. What's a lockout? Is that a vehicle or a building lockout?
House,
Building.
Okay.
building or house, yeah. I believe this one was a house, got locked out, so we just go and kind of pry this,
Gently.
yeah, and then we pop it open.
Some entry.
I think we threw a window on that one.
House. Any questions on the October one? November was a really slow month. With 17 calls. And on the back again, just a summary of kind of what we have done. We brought sand into town with the ladder truck, first part of November. And then November calls were 21 calls, total calls for this year at last time. 344 were 93 calls down. But yeah, we're definitely going down.
Well, it's only the second, I was gonna ask about December, but it's only the second day, so that,
Well, everybody learned how to drive in the snow, so we had no accidents.
good.
Also, fire inspection update. They were done first part of November. And they are starting the second round, or starting the first round for the new year already in December. So they'll be starting here within the next 2 weeks on inspections already.
Have we heard any feedback from members of the community, business owners, building owners about how that's going? Just anything, just any words from anybody?
I have not, I don't know if Kevin's heard anything.
I haven't, but I have been with Inspector Schmidt on a couple of inspections, and I think the community, the business owners appreciate being able to, like, if they have a question, being able to call down and have somebody swing over, stop by, help explain changes to buildings. I know we looked at, there's one place downtown, and we tried to help out the business owner at trying to figure out secondary means of egress. And so I think having somebody that you can call down to the fire station and have an issue, no problem, I'll be there in a half hour, I can meet you tomorrow, and just having somebody there to answer those questions, I think has gone very well. The good thing is we haven't had any complaints about,
Right.
how we're doing inspections, and I think having, zoning out the inspections into certain zones, so you're not inspecting here one day and then a half hour later you're across town. I think we're trying to manage it so you can, walk through and catch 5-10 inspections, in a zone. And so, but again, answering questions and being responsive to the community's questions and business owners' questions, I think has helped a lot.
Another issue has come up that I've been approached about, and it's nothing to do with the quality of inspections. We've been approached because there are businesses opening in Ripon that are not contacting the fire district for inspections. We don't even know they're opening. Main Street doesn't know they're opening, nor does the chamber know they're opening. And if they don't go to the city for a building permit, the city doesn't know. So I've talked to Main Street and the chamber and the city about how we can get notice that these businesses are occupying empty stores, and because we don't know what they're doing in there. And so, because it's also an issue for the city too,
Right.
if they haven't gotten a building permit.
Right, and especially if there's a change of occupancy, if their
Yeah.
business operated as one type of business and then you open it as a there's different requirements that you may not know about. And you'd hate to have to go to the new business owner and say, well, hey, you purchased this, but you need to have this many exit based on your business. Now you're gonna need, an alarm system, or you're gonna need a new exit, and that's very
I
costly.
get this, well, how come this business could open without an inspection? I'm like,
Yeah.
what business?
Yeah, that is very tough to control. it will take some awareness. I mean, maybe, on the fire department's end, it's throwing stuff out in social media, like, hey, if you're a new business or you're looking at, contact us. I don't know what that is, but I think, the communities, the fire department, if there's a building inspector involved, I think they all have to be working together to have some kind of
Yeah.
awareness.
And Main Street would let us know too, but they didn't know about this business coming
Yeah.
in either.
Yeah, that's
So
tough.
it's a tough one.
It is.
Don't you need a business license if you're gonna have a business?
You're supposed to.
So, otherwise that'd be.
Nobody knew about a business license either.
When somebody goes and looks at new business licenses within the city, but I don't know if you can do a search just
Well,
by
if they
you.
don't say they're opening a business, you wouldn't be able to find it.
Yeah, you would find it.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like inspections are a good source of revenue,
Yes,
so we don't wanna miss.
right, but we also want the building to be safe, especially, you guys
Yeah.
fought that fire on the 300 block downtown. Those buildings all share a wall, so you wanna make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing in those buildings.
Or they share a common basement or, attic.
So that's just a FYI
Yeah.
that because I think I've been helping out at the chamber lately, that people think they can give all their, concerns and complaints to me that I can't do anything about.
Yeah,
No, but it's somewhere they bounced it off.
Yeah, well, and then I was able to talk to Craig and the chamber person, and then I talked to Adam about it. They're all, everybody was kind of like, oh, because if they don't know,
right.
they don't know.
I know and I don't know if the city or towns have this, but, and sometimes it doesn't go through that anyway, but, for example, Nina Menasha had like a site plan committee, and they would, end up, 3:00 in the afternoon, if they had some new applications come in about businesses, then this committee would get together, so it would be, the building inspector, the fire inspector, because like in an instance for a bar, you have to have an occupancy checklist, or for a restaurant before they can open and serve food or alcohol. And so fire department goes through, yep, all the extinguishers, exit lights look good. Building inspector goes through, like, yep, the alarms and whatever, right? And so they would have a site plan committee, it was called, and so police department, for code enforcement and all that would meet and go, yep, we've checked this off, now it needs to go to the fire department, and so,
So
but,
you're on the plan commission, right? Do you all do stuff like that?
We, mostly just from like inspections and legal and ordinance on the city side. I guess we haven't ever specifically asked if anybody's got fire inspections done or if
Can
they've done a
you
building.
bring that to your next, have that on your next meeting discussion to see if there's some way that maybe something can be developed, like Kevin said, so that we're aware that this is going on, because it's not a problem to do an inspection.
And, if those people don't know,
yeah, it's been awareness, right?
I think you would. Can't
And it's
start
still
smoking
also
guns
the
and selling
cracks.
oak well, you can inspect it.
It does fall through the cracks in the big city too, I mean, that would happen all the time, they're like, when did that place go into, so even you have all the guidelines and ways to make sure that you are aware, it does still slip through once in a while, so.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but I know they're doing a good job with inspections, but I just,
Yeah.
that thing came up and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, but to wrap up my, because I asked the question initially, it's just, that's one of those things where if you aren't hearing a lot of chatter about it, hopefully then it's just everything's going well and smoothly, and that's what you want to hear,
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
everything's business as normal, which is excellent, so.
That is, because you used to get complaints. Okay, anything, no, is it his turn now, or are you done, or?
Yeah, I'm done, yeah.
So my update, our fit testing is complete this past month, so the flow and fit testing of SCBA bottles, and then the face pieces for our firefighters, those all passed and are good. We had our physicals have been completed. We held a safety meeting, I think it was our third or fourth one for the year, so we've gone over some of those items. I have been working with Mitch from EMS on a policy that in regards to rehab, and what that is if there's a long-term incident or a structure fire, EMS is always responds as well. And then rehab is when firefighters go through X amount of bottles of air, they stop what they're doing, they have to go to rehab. EMS will check them out for blood pressure and that type of thing, just to get hydrated. And then if everything checks over after whatever time, 20 minutes, whatever, then they can go back into, firefighting operations, and then crews just continue to be rotated. But neither group had a policy or a SOG on that, and so him and I started working together to create one so that both entities have something like that for rehab. We completed our officer training, or started officer training, in working with strategic planning and planning for 2026. Lots of topics, lots of ideas. What we decided to do was to put a survey together, a department-wide survey again, like, hey, what went well, what didn't go well, and then we're gonna use that as a final tool to plan for 2026. So whether it's, ideas for training, hey, we did this in 25, let's not do that again, it didn't work well, whatever it is, we wanna get the feedback from, we're gonna get some feedback from the officers, they have their own to fill out, and then other members of the department will also fill one out. So I think it'll give us a good idea of what direction they would like to see or go into in 26, with amongst the other things that the officer talked about. So when we complete that, and when we have those goals and planning set, probably sometime mid-January, by the time we get information put together, then we'll share that with the board, because I'd like to continue using the strategic plan as a planning tool moving forward, and that continually be updated. So want to share that with you, probably like mid-January. Been working on I think I talked last time about NIFRS, that's going away. That's the system that the fire department uses to report our calls to. It's a national system. That's going away. They're changing it. Now it's called NIRIS. And so it's supposed to start in our area January 1. So there's a lot of hiccups trying to switch that reporting system over. But we're working on it, and we have a third party that we use, which is ESO.
What's the cost?
It's free, because it's
Oh,
a
okay,
national
good.
reporting.
Well,
It's-
you just never know.
No, yep, so we pay, that third party is ESO that we use, and then once we enter that into ESO sends it to NIRIS.
Okay.
So it's free, it's just a matter of switching over our call records to this new system. So then, we have to figure out then the old records, what happens to them from NIFRS, because they're only giving us a certain time to be able to download them and to gather that
Is
information.
that like the whole history?
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, because after a certain date, they're saying you're no longer gonna be able to access your records. So, watched a seminar today and trying to make sure that we're able to, and follow the steps to be able to download records, because, communities use that for, community risk reduction, or they can heat map, like, go back in your last 5 years or last 10 years and say, well, this area in the city or wherever has the most calls, why is that? So there's a lot of tools that can be used with that, and so we don't want to lose that information. We'll have to figure out how to save it, and so that's part of the process too. So we had a meeting with fire prevention specialist Schmidt, and I think it was his 5th or 6th review for the year, so working with him in that. working with, and I talked to Chief Hollis about confined space. It's not something that is done every day, of course, and so there was a company, MSI Express, that reached out and had asked what our capabilities are, because they have horizontal confined space in their facility, and so they just asked what tools do we have that in case somebody had, you know, gone down in one of the confined spaces, how could we perform a rescue? And the horizontal one is a lot easier than a vertical one, so we do have some tools there, and I haven't met with them yet to go see what they look like, but my thought is that if they're looking for the department to be at the awareness level on, hey, what can we do initially before, you know, we call Oshkosh or somebody that has more tools or capabilities, what can we do? And so I wanna work with them, and maybe it's something that we could help, they may help share in purchasing a piece of equipment or something that we need. More of like air monitoring, which we do have some, but, and then some type of fresh air fans or something like that. But, so I'm working with that company, and then us chiefs will be able to figure out, you know, maybe there's some formal training that company can provide or some awareness level. So working with that, and then working with Chief Engineer Coop with the inventory, trying to inventory not just the equipment on the truck, but we want to be able to keep track of when our SCBA's are used, when they're cleaned, and just be able to check that equipment out when it's used. And some of that goes to the cancer presumption stuff in the fire department, and so that we can keep track of that, keep track of maintenance better, making sure that it's clean, and that there's no issues with the face pieces and masks. So we're trying to figure out what documentation and how much documentation that we'll use. So we're working on that, and that's coming along. So been working on that stuff the last month. So that's pretty much it for me on my end.
Any questions for him? Okay, I think it's back to you.
Sure. Right here we have hires. So we just interviewed two, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Two yesterday, one a week or two ago, and then we also have that apprentice, Ray Ellis, which I think we've talked about him. He does get an hourly wage, that's part of his agreement with CISA 6. He's been great getting the hydrant hooked up, he's been great working with Cooper, he's been doing really well. We also have Robert Ortega, I think I pronounced that right. He is applying for a POC, he'll be paid on call, so he'll be living in the city here. We also have Charles Darenzio. We met with him yesterday. He wants to be a day shift position only at this time. And then we met with Daniel Hendricks, and he also wants to be a paid on call. So in all, we're looking to hire four people.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Gary.
We're short people.
And I think maybe these last two are still waiting on background checks on probably, but otherwise
Yeah,
everybody else is.
but this way you can go.
Yeah.
Second, okay. Any questions for Chief? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okey dokey.
Second here on the list is excess equipment to sell. So we got the tires put on, the truck 17, they got all new tires put on it. And the front tires on tender 13 have been replaced as well, because those were cuffing off really bad. And of course the drive tires are the most important on them. So we have 12 tires in total that we would like to put on Wisconsin surplus, along with, we used to have some scuba people that were able to scuba dive, which we no longer have that, but we have the equipment. The equipment, I'm guessing, is probably outdated by now.
Yeah, that's the problem is if we can try and sell it, I don't know how old it is, but if we can try and sell it, somebody might be able to use it in training or whatever before it is outdated and we're not gonna get anything for it. So I think there's probably still a little bit of life left in it. But the same thing as like our SCBA bottles, the scuba bottles have to be, they have to be hydro tested and, checked for, every year. And so we wanna be able to, maybe sell those things before they are outdated. So,
Also, there were some ladders that didn't sell the last time. I think there's maybe one out there yet that did not sell. We'd like to resell that again as well. And also, we replaced the 2 TVs here. There was 2 old-timer TVs here when the station was built. Those got replaced, so we'd like to put those on as well. And then there's our RIT trailer, which is our Rapid Intervention Team trailer. We had all our props and everything inside of that trailer. And over the years, it's just gotten run down. The bees have taken it over in the fall, and nobody really wants to go in it. All of the equipment that was in that trailer has been moved, or will be moved into the garage back here, because that garage has been cleaned. And we would like to sell that cube van trailer as well. We just kind of want to clean up that back area back there. It's looking kind of cruddy. So those are the items we'd like to sell.
Where you throw your chicken in after you barbecue it?
No.
Is there a motion to approve the sale of that stuff?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Tom. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okey dokey. Just keep going.
Old business.
SOGs
You.
first.
Or do you
Should we
have
do it?
some?
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Wow, you should have said something when
That's
you were
okay,
talking.
that's okay.
I thought maybe you didn't have any.
No, we
You
have
were so
3.
quiet.
They were from last time, so.
Oh, okay.
The first one is SOG 1-007, and that has to do with reporting of injury or illness on or off duty. And so I think the biggest change when I went through this one, is making sure that when something happens on scene, that the proper documents are filled out, so that if it is something that has to do with workers' comp, that it's documented right away, and that if there's, witness statements and things like that, that those get filled out properly so that there's no delay in whatever. So some of that was not spelled out, nor was the type of form that needs to be filled out spelled out. So in that SOG, it says this document needs to be filled out, it's located here. When it's filled out, please give it to this person or whatever. So it's more step by step on how it gets done and making sure that it is done. So that's the only difference. It's really spelled out compared to what it looked like in the past. So, and then there was really no time frame, but those types of things have to be done within like 24 hours so that, again, there's no delay on somebody getting, treatment or insurance or whatever is going on, that it's filed properly, that type of thing. So we just wanted to name the type of form, where it's located, who that form needs to be given to when it's done, that type of thing. So that is that one. So that is again, reporting of injury or illness on or off duty.
Should we do all 3 at the same time? Do you
Sure.
want to keep going?
Yep, I can keep going. So then the next one is SOG 1008, and that is the use of district and department electronic equipment. So the last time that this was done was approximately 2017. And so there was some items, electronic items, that were not in that SOG, so like the use of iPads now is probably more prevalent than in the past, or laptops or whatever we have now. So really what I did is just described the types of electronics that, basically any type of software should not be, other than what the fire department uses, that software should not be downloaded on any iPad or any kind of device used here in the fire station. And that software that's only authorized by the fire chief or the board is to be used here and nothing else. And so some specific items were not listed back in 2017, I just made it a little more specific. So that is the electronic stuff. And then lastly, 1-009 is living quarters use. This one was, again, I just made it more specific. For example, when people are working here, and especially in overnight situations, there's a time period when, families should not be present. They have a certain time that, I think it's up to 8 PM or 9 PM, and then after that, family's great to stop down and visit while you're here, but, not, shouldn't be after 9 o'clock. There's some approvals that need to happen when somebody is on duty here in the evening by the chief or the duty officer. There's, part of this is, no sleeping upstairs now. The day room is now down here, so the only, activity upstairs should be the lifting of, there's the equipment upstairs for lifting weights and stuff, but after 5 PM, nobody should be up there, like after the duty day is done, and nobody should be up there doing any sort of sleeping, watching TV, any of that should be all done down here. So those were the biggest changes with the living quarters and space here at the fire station.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I so moved.
Thank you, Tom.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, now we'll move on to grants awarded.
I got a real quick question on that for Kevin.
Yeah.
How are we doing with regard to those updates? I mean, are we getting, you seem to have a lot.
Yeah, so we have, that is the 9th one that we've approved, in the administrative SOGs. There were some that we approved last year, so I have a chart, to keep track of ones that we still need to work on and, ones that we, need to finish it. There's still quite a few that we have. There's probably in total, with policies, there's probably 50 SOGs. Now, some of the administrative ones are fairly simple. I think they're gonna get more complex as we, roll into the operation SOGs, cause that's, hey, you send this truck on this type of call, or these truck, so it's a little more technical, on the operation side. The administrative side is not so bad, but, there's probably like 5 or 6 more I have ready for next time, so.
Are we halfway?
I don't think we're halfway, but I think by March, we'll have a good majority of them, to that halfway
Seems
point.
like you're getting
Yeah.
nice progress.
Yeah.
Well, and I know it's a lot, but it's important to have this in writing so everybody knows what's expected of them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have it in writing, there's a tendency to treat one person one way and one person another way. And we want to be fair to everybody. Yes, Doug?
It's also important to update these on a regular basis because life changes, things change. We were doing this with the library for a long time, and then we've had to go through and update a lot of the employment stuff. The handbook has to be updated because situations change, and we want to conform the handbook to what life is, not make people conform to what the handbook says. So if lots of people are doing it this way, well, we're gonna change the handbook is so they're in compliance, unless it's something illegal, or we're not, bless that, but we wanna make sure everyone's on the same page and we know what's expected. So regularly reviewing this is very important.
especially for technology.
Yeah,
Because
this-
even your engines change, don't they?
Yeah, the operations side, techniques change, trucks change, equipment changes, and so it's important to keep up to that. The goal moving forward is so these three that are approved, the chiefs have been doing a great job at, before, training starts, the 2 times a month. These are talked about then prior to the training. And then if there's any questions, firefighters can ask questions, they sign off on them. And then we're gonna start to keep a book up front. And then the goal is, when a new firefighter starts or whoever's starting here, everybody should have one, but wanna create a book for them so that they have it, they have access to it. Whether it's up front in the office up front or, through a manual or whatever, but, that way everybody's aware and they can't say they didn't see it or know about it. But discussing it, and, because sometimes we can think about all the things that need to be in there, and then you discuss it with the firefighters, and they might have come up with something that we didn't think about, so, I think it's a good idea for them to, weigh in afterwards, and, like I said, they know about it, they sign off on it, so the chiefs have been doing a really good job at the awareness part of it once changes are made, so.
Okay. You wanna do the grants?
Sure, we can do the grant. Last week, we were awarded a grant from Compeer Financial in the amount of $4,000, and that was delegated towards turnout gear. So every 3 years, I believe that grant comes available, he told us, so he's willing to work with us again and get us another 4,000, so.
What was the name of that place?
Compeer,
Okay.
Compeer Financial,
Okay.
they're big into the egg, I believe, right, egg lending, so,
That's
Greg
great.
and new people,
And
new
Heather wrote
people,
that one,
I believe so.
buying first houses and stuff.
Actually, I believe Adam Sante,
told her about it?
yeah, made her aware of it,
Oh, good.
and got it through that way.
Because sometimes we don't know what's available.
Actually, I know it's available because I get their newsletter flyer.
Okay, and then, would you guys want to apply for a grant?
We do the Webster Foundation, which is now Hy-Vee down here, but Webster's still continues as foundation thing. And they donate money to all the organizations around Ripon here. We've applied for it in the past, and we've gotten it. And we'd like to apply for it again.
What do you want?
And yep, and this year we're looking at, we kind of talked a little bit about it already. We're looking at a 4-gas detector, which is, it's a meter that we put in our engines. So if we go into a burning structure or confined space, this detector is going to alert us whether there's hazardous gases in there, whether there's no oxygen in there, sulfur, carbon dioxide. So the 4-gas detector would probably be in our price range for what the foundation looks at giving us every year. So I know we've used it in the past for fire prevention, but I think talking to you, there was still some money in there.
Yeah.
So we would look at getting that 4-gas detector with that grant.
Okay, is there a motion to approve them going ahead and filing for that?
I make a motion to file for that.
Okay, Gary, and
I'll second it.
thank you, Tom.
Do we need to approve the awarded grant?
Oh, didn't we do that? Well, could we approve both of them? You want to,
Plan to do both?
you want to amend your motion, Gary,
Sure.
to do both, approve both? You, Tom?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
That's a good catch.
Yeah, okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, it passes. All right, so I have on here discussion of bylaw changes, but in the last week, I did some work. So we're gonna set aside what the city has asked for. We're gonna set that aside, not gonna talk about that today. So what I did was, I went back and checked the bylaws for purchasing. And in Article 1, if there's one, if there's an extra one, give it to Liz.
Pass them over.
That would be fine.
Just,
Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
The bylaws were created in, what, these were 2010, you guys did them? So on October 31st of 2020, we approved buying an engine, but we missed a step when approving and ordering the engine because it was supposed to be so quick or we going to lose the pricing. So Article 7, under the administrative part, fiscal manners, says annually, and we are not doing this right at all. Annually prior to the 15th of August, fire chief in the Ripon area fire district or such other person or group of persons as may be designated by the board shall submit to the president and the treasurer a budget for operation and maintenance of fire protection for the district. The budget shall be reviewed by the board at its September meeting. A public hearing on the budget shall be conducted at this meeting. The board shall then approve a final budget for the next year, which we haven't been following that timeline. However, the board shall not adopt a budget imposing a tax rate or payment from the general fund exceeding the previous year by 5%. Without the unanimous consent of all member municipalities, the treasurer shall immediately forward a complete copy of the approved budget to the member municipalities. The clerks of the member municipalities shall then cause the payment of that municipality's prorated share to the Ripon Area Fire District, either from its general fund or by a tax levy on the owner's property located within the district. So we didn't put the engine in the budget. And a 5% increase on the 2023 budget would have been approximately, let's see, $6,000, $6,000. So a $998,000 engine doesn't fit in that. So you can see my notes on here too. So, and it says, we already do this, the percentage of the annual budget and other duly authorized expenditures to be paid by each municipality shall be equal to that municipality's percentage of the total equalized valuation of improvements within the district, calculated at a 5-year rolling average, which is what I do every year, and I give you the amount. The second one I'm not so sure of, but in looking at this, it seems to me that in order to continue forward to purchase the truck, because everybody, I think we're all in agreement we want the truck, right? Okay, so there are a couple different things we can do, and I'm happy to work on this with the chiefs, is develop a budget, amend our budget, the 2026 budget to include the $998,000 for the truck. It would be added as a capital item. We can do that in January, we can approve that budget, and then the treasurer would need to send it back to all of the municipalities, and city council for us would have to approve it. Your different groups would have to approve it. Now, a solution for this, there's two solutions. If we want the truck, we can go ahead, if one of the municipalities wants to buy the truck, say if you want to buy the truck, you can go ahead and, we have to change the language in this to develop a section that says it will be a one-time purchase of the truck and that would be leased back to the fire district. Or we absorb the $300,000 penalty and file bankruptcy. Because the penalty is $300,000. Yes, Gary? Gary's thinking.
I sure am. Now, you've got these rules,
Yeah.
and I don't know whether you got, but we've bought fire trucks before.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought them the same way we bought this fire truck.
Correct, because he didn't do it correctly.
Be that as it may.
Mm-hmm.
the municipalities have always bought the equipment for the fire district.
That's been your practice. It's not the policy.
Be that as it may. Sure, I think we should just declare bankruptcy right now and shut the doors and lock them up.
If you wanna make that motion, go ahead.
I'm just saying, some of this just gets, to me, it just gets too darn nitpicky. Everybody knew we were buying this fire truck 3 years ago, and all of a sudden it can't be done. And I did question, because somebody asked the question, I think that ladder truck may have, I remember something going on, because when we bought that, the towns paid for they paid the whole business off.
When did you do that?
On the ladder truck, when they called, because they wanted some money down when they started.
What year are you talking about?
And what that have been,
16 years ago?
for the ladder truck, was 15 already?
16 years old already, ain't it? 6 years old? 10?
I don't think it's
I
that.
think it was 10 years old.
10 years old.
Okay,
Holds the building.
I don't know.
anyway, the municipality put their own ball of wax in, so we were paid up, and the city didn't pay any on the down payment. I'm not blaming anybody, it worked fine. So, when the truck did come, I don't know what the city, they may have tried to lease it. I was trying to put it in my brain today, how that would work, because the city's leasing it, and they don't even own it, I mean, it's basically turned over to the fire district. When these trucks belong to the fire district.
Yes.
Fire district did not pay for these trucks.
Well,
No, they
according, I'm telling you, yes, I understand what you're saying, but according to your bylaws, who owns the registration on those vehicles?
The fire district, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we didn't pay for them.
But your bylaws indicate you should have.
Well, then what they should have been, we should have been doing all along then, is putting the money, giving the money for these fire trucks into the, as a
Yes,
separate
which is
thing.
what I said at the last meeting. Going forward, we need to each year put money aside to buy a new engine.
Well, we're gonna be far over, then we gotta change this whole thing, because I think if you're gonna do that, you're gonna be over your 3% or whatever.
It's 5%, and what we do is, right now, we've been asking for 1%. If we ask for more than 1%, we can put that aside toward a new vehicle how long do you think before we need a new vehicle?
With the waiting times, within the next 5 years probably.
Okay, so then what you do is to budget this according to our bylaws, we would ask for a certain amount every year. And then when it came, we can increase even more as we get closer to that vehicle. But we need to start behaving as the district was formed with our bylaws. No, we don't take any action tonight, we don't have to. If you wish, I will go ahead and work with the chiefs on developing a budget, which then would go back to each municipality for approval. But if you want, you're welcome to purchase the truck and then lease it back, but we'd have to put in some language for that.
Well, we're not gonna purchase the truck.
Okay. Ripon can purchase the truck. We just need to put language in and lease it back. I don't think a $300,000 fine is a good use of the taxpayers' money. And that would have to go back to each municipality too.
Plus, we're still gonna have to order a truck.
Right, and it's
and
now,
it's
it costs $1.3.
$200,000 more. so
Oh, it's
we're-
more than that. It's more than that. It's
Well-
2.3, 2.4 million today if we were to
so
order
you-
a truck.
So you got your finance half of the truck, I mean.
It's a
they have
third, yeah.
truck and a half.
Mhm.
So, Alan, are you saying that, like, right now, in our budget, obviously, we're small potatoes in this.
You're like
total.
2 or 3%.
We put $10,000 aside annually. So are you saying that what would happen was the money would, instead of us reserving it aside and then using it when we buy a truck, that the district, that this would be structured so the district would collect the money?
Yep, and set it and restrict it for a truck.
Okay.
And it might not even be $10,000. I don't know annually.
we've
It might
got-
be less,
Like
might
this
be
year,
more.
we've got to buy a truck with the Berlin Fire District and the Ripon Fire District.
Oh,
That's
That
not,
kinda
that's not
sucks.
good. I mean, we can do it because we've got the money set aside.
But you've been doing, the district is supposed to be telling the municipalities, and really, the chief should have been doing this. This is, if you look at the job of the chief of the Ripon Area Fire District to put the budget together. I sort of took that away when I realized things were not going well, about 4 years ago. So I didn't know I had to do this. So we missed it. I missed it, made a mistake, but it's fixable.
So now you're saying you think the best way would be to amend our budget, throw the $900,000 in there,
Yeah,
take it back to the municipalities.
Yep.
And get it approved.
yeah, but also with that one language that this isn't something that's gonna happen all the time, it's just a one-time deal. Because we don't want to be in this position all the time, and then when we budget from year to year, we make sure we're budgeting and putting money aside, like you've been doing, and you must do that too in your town, that we're, as the district, putting that money aside for a vehicle.
I think the plan, a good plan would be to, let's take a look at the apparatus that we have, put together a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year replacement schedule. And that way you know, hey, in 8 years or whatever, this truck needs to be replaced. Then if it's 8 years out, 10 years out, then you can kind of figure what that is, and it
And that's
might help a little bit with the budgeting.
That's what the city's looking for. I've done that in every county I went to. Brown County did not have a capital improvement plan. Marinette County did not have a capital improvement plan. And when I went in there, there was a lot of resistance from the boards, because they thought it was saying you are going to buy this stuff,
Right.
and it's just
Just a
saying,
guide.
this is what we think you're gonna need,
Yeah.
and you can move things around. But Ripon has a professional administration now. They did not for 10 years. And that's what we're seeing the result of. We're seeing a result of people who want to follow the bylaws. We're seeing a result of people who want to follow Gadsby accounting principles, who want to follow basically the rules.
So basically, from the town perspective, what this change that we would have to get approved is to move the money that we've already got set aside.
I don't think it's even that. I think we can always ask, we can have your attorney, you have the same attorney?
Yes.
Have them talk to Lud about the other pieces of it that I may not understand. Lud Words is the only person who's left from when this district was created. And when I had to talk to PPA, I couldn't tell them things, so I had to have Lud on the phone to tell PPA what was what, because I can't. But if your attorney wants to talk to Lud, they can bang out the details. But it's not, I think you would be able to hold on to your money, in theory. Not the smartest, sharpest tool in the pack. And then the city would pay for the truck. And then lease it back.
You're gonna lease it back to the fire district?
What do we want with a fire truck?
Well, see, I was understanding, okay, we take this back to the municipality. So we take it back, we have to have a meeting. And say, hey, you know, the budget's, the fire budget's gonna be way higher than what we said.
Right,
And we've already got the money, so it's not a big deal. It's just like you, I don't know why you'd have anybody. So why does the city have to buy the truck?
you have the money to buy the whole truck.
No, but we don't have to pay for the whole truck until it's delivered, do we? We have to make a down payment.
The city would pay for all of it. You wouldn't, I think having you just pay money would muddy it all up. But that's something your attorney can talk to Lud about. I can't give you those answers. I am not an attorney.
Well, I'm not an accountant either, but to me, it just,
Does our contract with Pierce have the pay-by date on it, or the remainder is due?
It's due in April, we can make a down payment in January, which is why I'm suggesting we revise this, bring it back to our January meeting, you take it back to the local municipalities. And then,
So possibly in that scenario then, well, possibly, then yeah, the municipalities would pay in the district for the down payment?
I
And then
don't
the
know,
remainder?
I don't know if that would be, it could be, I think that's something that can be negotiated, I don't know.
So are we saying that if we did it this way, if the city bought the truck, the money that we're planning on contributing to the purchase would be a lease payment?
It could be put toward the lease payment, yeah. But
think-
again, I think you have to have your attorney
Yeah, I think so.
think about it.
so it's,
I think the better way to do that
I'm
would
just a simple guy here, but this seems pretty complicated for something that shouldn't be.
Oh, I think it's all pretty complicated. It's given me a lot of headaches.
Well, I just wonder what if we're not currently operating under the bylaws,
Yep.
what does that mean for the liability and the legal status of the district to be able to continue to operate? And are there any penalties or anything in these bylaws that talk about what happens if you're in violation of them? And that's something that I don't know. And that's where, when you say, you know, we've been operating and we're continuing, that's fine, but also that's scary to me, because these are legal documents that this entire organization are incorporated under, which means if we're not following them, that puts all of us at this table into a kind of a precarious situation, because under the law, under our bylaws, we're supposed to be doing it one way, and maybe we haven't done it to the exact letter, you know, that, there's gray areas. This is printed in black and white, but that's not how the real world is, so there, you know, there's always some discussions there to be made. But it really scares me, I mean, I'll be honest, it scares me to think if we're not operating under these, what does that mean? Does that mean we are bankrupt and we don't even know it yet because we have other liabilities? Are we operating an illegal firefighting association that's not under state statute able to operate? Like, that, it
Well, I don't-
seems,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna wrap up with, that seems crazy, right? But if someone really got a hair, excuse my language for a second, a hair up their butt, they could point to these, take us all to court and say, well, actually, you know, you let my house burn down, you're on the hook for the whole thing. Have at it. And we'd go, what do you mean? We did it like we were supposed to, but we didn't actually. And that's where I get scared. I mean, I take it a little bit to the extreme in this example, but that's where I go looking at this. And I know that seems drastic, and I don't want to derail us on this discussion item too much, but I think at the end of the day, we got to figure out how do we get back to operating under the bylaws. We can make amendments to them. That's the best part. We can look back at this and say, well, this is not gonna work for us anymore. We gotta change it. You know, and that's where you start to talk to an attorney and have them look it over and what do we wanna do? You know, how do we wanna change it? But, you know, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous.
One of the
Well,
questions,
Barry wanted,
Oh, go ahead.
Barry wanted something.
I don't know as though the city's attorney and our attorney should be looking at this.
Who should then, Barry?
Our fire district attorney.
Well, I don't know if, we can ask, I've gotta find out, it's not gonna be Patrick Legal, it might be Tom Moniz, so I can do that. I can
I mean,
call Tom.
that would be, that's just my thought,
Okay,
that
I agree.
our district attorney
good point.
should
Okay.
be looking at this.
I'll give Tom
And
a
not
call.
saying that Ludd and our attorney,
Might still be.
and that's
Sure,
also,
sure, that's a good idea.
I mean, that's my thought.
Yeah.
I'll call Tom tomorrow then.
Ellen, in my understanding, because I'm gonna have to explain this to the
Good
board.
luck.
Am I understanding that it's more palatable to the city of Ripon to buy the whole truck than to do it in the way that we've done in the past?
Yes, right,
Why?
just as a safeguard, they don't wanna do it like this they don't wanna do this all the time. This would just be so we don't lose this truck.
Yeah, I don't quite get it either. If you look at
Well,
the-
because, I'm thinking if our attorney looks at this, he's gonna be wondering, wait a second, we're putting the money in, but we don't have, our participation, we own part of the fire district, you own part of the fire district, the city owns part of the fire district. But,
See, I don't see what difference it would make if we paid our share right off the bat, instead of having to buy the whole thing. I mean, I just don't understand it, I'm sorry. I
That's
just don't.
okay, it's complicated. I'm gonna take what Barry suggested and call Tom Moniz tomorrow and have him talk to Ludd, because Ludd's the one who, I didn't know this existed. He showed it to me,
But
yeah.
I think,
Well, Ludd's the only one who's been around from the beginning.
Well, I don't know if what it is, I think Sorensen did this.
Actually, Kilgore wrote them, I didn't know that.
I think,
Kilgore wrote them, apparently Ludd found his name on them.
He retired a long time ago.
Did he retire?
That was his building downtown that was sold, across from the post office.
he used to be, he used to be our attorney.
Okay, so he's the
Yeah.
one who wrote it. I
Well-
thought Sorensen
well,
did too.
There were two of them, they're brothers, and one of them retired like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, and the other one retired a couple of years ago.
But Tom Moniz is our attorney from Von Reason, and Patrick Legal is for human resource, labor issues. I will do that, Barry, I think that's a good idea.
Me too.
I got a question too on that engine, I guess. If the city is gonna own that engine, is there gonna be something written in the bylaws that say that the city can't pull that engine out of the district?
That could be negotiated,
'Cause I could see that happening, that we get a new engine.
but if you have a lease, it's a legal
do it.
document,
you could do like a 20-year lease on equipment like that, or
or 30
15-year.
for the way
Yeah,
we use them.
you could do like a 30-year lease, but
And are we gonna be able to use it on a call? Or we have to ask for permission first?
If you're leasing it, it's like leasing a car. You don't have to ask to drive the damn car if you wanna drive it, if you're leasing it.
I'm just asking, so we're all on the
You
same
know,
page.
drive it so many miles and you're gonna get penalized.
Yes,
quit
I've never
idling
leased
that
one.
engine.
I've
Turn
never
that pump
leased
off.
one.
You don't need that one.
Ellen, if you could shed light on that after you talk to the attorney, because, I'm gonna be hard pressed to try to explain this to my board.
Let me call Tom Moniz and maybe he can help us figure this all out, to talk to Bud and give us more information. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and work with the chiefs on, the budget will remain basically the same. The operating budget will remain the same, but then there'll be the capital improvement budget. And he's done those before, and I've done them before. So then we'll bring that back in January and hopefully we'll have, you need help there, Mr. Page?
Yes, please, no.
Okay,
If I wasn't here, I'd just take it off.
well,
Maybe some black tape and have your Band-Aid.
I think they probably have some first aid stuff here, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Is everybody agreeable to, we'll get the attorneys talking and then we'll just redo the budget, bring it back in January and talk about it then? Okay?
I think for a point of clarification, the hesitation to say any municipality is gonna go ahead and pay towards the fire truck right now would be that it violates very directly this 5%
Yeah,
law,
Yeah.
or in our bylaw here
well, and it's 5%
of the previous years.
annually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be, yeah, that's why you
And-
need this, whatever.
And so I think that's where, that's, again, I look at this and kind of start picking it apart and then going drastic and crazy.
Yeah,
But,
don't overthink it.
if you're directly in violation of that 5%, then you can't have purchased the truck because it's against the way that you purchase trucks and then,
Well, that's why there has to be an amendment in
Right.
there.
The fire district has never purchased a truck.
But there's supposed to.
I haven't purchased any trucks. I just have
No,
to go by
no,
what
what I'm
was,
saying, we never purchased.
they never have, right. The municipalities
the
have just paid in.
Municipalities have been donating the truck to the fire district.
Mhm, right. But then why was this put in the bylaws in the first place?
I don't know that.
That,
I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
Some of the things I helped work on, I don't remember doing. I do remember doing part of this
Right.
with the 5%, but
right,
it didn't have anything to do with the trucks or the equipment. Because the equipment was already here to begin with when we started.
sure, yeah, yeah.
So when we needed equipment, we went to municipalities to buy the equipment.
Yeah.
And the municipalities bought the equipment and we had it.
That's what we're putting it.
Yes, Doug?
You know, that 5% really makes even less sense today.
Yeah,
Back in 2010, how much was a fire engine? $400,000?
I have no idea.
400,000 maybe?
Well, I think that ladder truck that's 10 years old,
That was 2015.
that was $1 million.
Right,
Was it?
And then
yeah, it was $1 million. And-
Those are
and-
more than the other?
Yeah,
The engine.
that's probably 2 million today,
2.5.
at least. I don't know how this is gonna be sustainable 5 or 10 years down the road.
Well, and also, is it the city of La Crosse is suing, there's a class action suit against the fire truck
Truck
manufacturers because there's a sense that these inflationary prices are not
justified.
justified, good word, not justified.
Exactly.
So I don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years, but we have to deal with this now and we have to figure it out. I think we all agree we want it, we want the engine. It's just figuring out how to get it.
So if you will somehow communicate what you find out so that, because when the third Monday rolls around,
Well, yeah, and
unless
some,
you wanna come and explain it.
oh God, no. Sometimes it takes me a while to
Yeah.
get it straight in my head. So I'll see what I can do, I'll email you, Tom.
Thank you.
So I'll put the revised agenda on, the revised budget on the agenda for January. Anything else you want on the agenda?
So we missed, in the SOGs, there's also / job descriptions on here. Meeting with the chiefs tonight, can you give us time to take a look at all the chiefs' jobs descriptions so that we can focus on,
Sure, just
You know
as
what I
long
mean?
as you
Yeah.
are aware that Heather's job is bifurcated.
yes,
And it's bifurcated for a reason,
yes,
because we don't seem to have ever been, I don't wanna say this, but we need to have somebody who has that dual reporting.
yes, we just wanna make sure that one, tasks aren't overlapped or, we just didn't have time. to-
Well, and I think it would help her not do everything.
Yeah, yep, so I think we just need some of that time, just to take a look and discuss amongst ourselves what makes sense and hey, I can do this, or it makes sense for
Well,
this.
the other thing is too, specifically Cody's job description, I'm not sure he's been allowed to do what he's
Right.
supposed to be doing, and
Right.
that kind of fries my
Yep,
butt,
yep.
so,
So yeah, that's the only thing, is
Okay.
maybe to put that on for, for January, and then there'll probably be some more SOGs, I'm assuming, that we would be able to get through
okay.
as well.
Kevin, do you wanna put anything about the Survival Lifehouse?
Oh, yeah, so there's been some talk that it sits in the apparatus bay, it's not been used for years.
Is that like one of your wanting to sell, so
Yes.
we'll just keep it on the agenda?
Yes, that would
Okay.
be awesome,
You know, talk about it next.
yeah, next meeting, yeah,
We'll just leave the sell equipment or disposal of equipment on the agenda? Okay.
yeah, that would be great.
Doesn't anybody want cookies? I bake them with my own
Yeah.
living little hands.
We're gonna wait until the meeting's over.
For future agenda items, I think we should, my opinion, start considering a full-time chief.
Actually, I think that's a discussion that we need to have. I was going to put something on the January agenda. It would be a discussion of a full-time or a part-time chief. But I also think we're gonna go into closed session later on in the day for that one. So yes.
Great.
We'll have guest speakers. So,
Great.
good, thank you. Yep, we're at a point where we need to make a decision. Okay, happy holiday, oh, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Merry Christmas, everyone.